All right, guys, we've been talking about finding the percent of a number. We're going to do a little extension on that today. Um, let me do a quick example of what we've been talking about. Find 84% of 25. Basically, when you think about that, I have a whole of 25, and I want 84% of that 25. So 25 is actually my whole, and I'm looking for what part of 25, 85% of that is. So let's just do a quick example. Remember, when we're talking about it, it's is over of, but we're going to extend that a little bit more, and is my part, and of is my whole. So that's going to be important. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So let's just quickly do this problem. So 84% is just 84 over 100. And then of 25, of is my whole, Okay. So then I just need to figure out, this is my equivalent ratio here. How did I go from 100 to 25? Well, I divided by 4. So that means here I need to divide by 4. So that gives me 21. So 84% of 25 is 21. That would be my answer. Okay. All right. So let's extend that a little bit today. Today we're going to talk about finding the whole. All right. So here is my problem for today. 15 is 30% of what number? So do you see the difference in what I'm saying here? In this case, I want to know what my whole is. I did not give you the whole. So that's what we're trying to figure out today. So we're still going to set up our ratio. It's just where you put this number is important. Like if you look over here, 25, that was my whole, so that went on the bottom. Okay. Today we're trying to find the whole. So let's just set up our proportion. Remember, my percent goes first. So 30% is just 30 over 100. Now you have these notes, so go ahead and write this down. 30 over 100 equals, now if you look, 15 is, so that is my part. That is my part. So that's where that 15 goes, is on top. Okay. All right, so now I just have an equivalent ratio here, and I just need to figure out how did I get from 30 to 15. I went down, so that means I have to have divided. So I divided by 2. I have to divide by 2, and that gives me 50. So now I can come back over here. My answer is 50. So 15 is 30% of 50. So if I have 50 whole things, 30% of that would be 15. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. Your paper looks like this, but I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger so I have some more room here. All right, so here's your problem. 20 is 40% of what number? So remember, I've got my part and whole is over of here, so that helps me. So I'm going to start off. So start with my percent. That's 40% equals 20 is, so that is my part. That's my part because I'm trying to figure out my whole number. So my part goes on top, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, my whole. Okay. So how did I go from 40 to 20? Again, I went down, so I must be dividing. So I'm dividing by 2 again. That just happens to be the case. It's not always dividing by 2. So I get 50 again. So 40% of 50 would be 20. That's my answer. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, 110 is 55% of what number? Start with my percent. So that's 55 over 100 equals 110 is, that's my part. That's my part because I want to know what the whole is. So how did I go from 55 to 110? I got larger, so that means I have to be multiplying. So I multiplied by something. So I multiplied by 2, multiply by 2, and I get 200. Okay, so my answer would be 200. All right, let's look at a word problem here. So word problems, for some of you, seem to be a little bit more difficult. So let's read this. 40% of the students in Miguel's class have blue eyes. If there are 10 students with blue eyes, so how many are in the class? All right, so again, you have to think. I know my percent, that's 40%. And now look at this. If there are 10 students with blue eyes, so does 10 represent part of the class or whole class? All right, hopefully you said that was part of the class. That's part. Okay? So now I just need to figure out, how did I go from 40 to 10? Again, I went smaller, so I must be dividing. So what did I divide by? I divided by 4, divide by 4. So I got 25. So go back to your word problem. There must be 25 kids in the class. Okay? This whole thing is not your answer. This was what I was looking for. That's your answer, not the fraction. Okay? All right, let's look at another. All right, switch this one, or exit out, because we already did this one. But I need to do this one with you because, of course, sometimes it gets harder. So this is one that's a little bit more difficult. So 21 is 75% of what number? Always start with your percent. So 75% is 75 over 100 equals. So 21 is. So that is my part. So 21 is my part. All right, so that should go on top. All right, now I have a problem here. Okay, obviously I'm getting smaller, so that means I mean to divide. But 75 divided by nothing gets me 21. So how in the world am I going to do that? So hopefully you kind of think about, remember your ratio tables where we kind of had to simplify first? So I'm going to simplify this fraction. So if I simplify this fraction, I recognize that I can divide both of them by 25. So if I divide by 25, I get 3, divide by 25, or quarters, and I get 4. Okay, so this fraction is the same as this one. So instead of looking at this one now, I'm going to look at this. Oh, looky there. Now can I go from 3 to 21? I got bigger, so I must be multiplying. And I can. I can multiply by 7. So here, I need to multiply by 7. So that gives me 28. So what number? 28 is my answer. Okay? All right, you have 2-word problems. I want you to do the 2-word problems and then come back and check your answers. So do the 2-word problems and then come back. So pause the video. All right, I went ahead and set up the video or the ratio for you. So in this case, I cannot do this, so I needed to simplify. So if I simplify, I divide this by 4, and I get 9 over 25. And now from 9 to 45, I multiply by 5, multiply by 5, and I get 125. So I'm going to go back to the question, how many kids are in 6th grade? 125 kids. Okay? Our next one, 34 problems correct. You got 85%, so that's 85 out of 100, and you got 34 correct. Okay, but I want to know how many total problems there were. Again, I cannot go from 85 to 34, so I need to simplify. So if I simplify this, I'm going to divide by 5 because I know they both end with a 5 and a 0. So that gives me 17 twentieths. Oh, and 17 times 2 gives me 34. So 20 times 2 gives me 40. So how many problems were on the test? There were 40 problems. Okay? All right, so hopefully you've got some homework tonight. So you're going to do the back side of your notes. Work on that for homework. If there are some examples, if you need some help, turn back over on this note side and look at your examples. If you have any questions, please make sure and talk to me tomorrow. Have a great day.